Hello and welcome to the FA Women's National League Show, the weekly show where we look at everything that has happened over the past 7 days and look ahead to what we can look forward to in the coming week. My name is Chris Gadsby. I'm here every Tuesday at 6 p.m. to bring you the very latest from the third and fourth tiers of women's football in England. Plenty to talk about this week. We're going to get on to the results in just a moment, but first we're going to do the news. I've decided I'm going to start doing a news segment here on the show, and we're going to start with good news both for Championship and for the FA Women's National League. Coventry United, we spoke last week about how the club, they found out just before Christmas they were going to fold, players were looking for teams to play for, etc. It looks as though they are going to be saved, which is great news for women's football, but they have been docked 10 points for all of this, and that means they are almost certainly coming down. They are now halfway through their season. They're on -4. They need at least 10 points from the second half of the season to stand any chance of staying up, and they only got 6 points in the first half of the season. So on paper, it looks as though they're almost certainly going to be coming down. From a FA Women's National League point of view, that's almost probably the best case scenario for the FAWNL. And the reason I say that is because Coventry, when they were in the FA Women's National League, were in the Southern Division. However, they could, in my opinion anyway, just as easily play in the North, being so close to West Brom, Wolves, Stoke, Forest, Derby, Loughborough. Those teams obviously might slightly change, but we'll see about that come the end of the season. Now, they did play in the South when they were in the National League before, but I think they could just as easily play in the North, which would make life for the FA Women's National League a lot easier because of the ease of just dropping them into whichever league the team goes up from. So that is Coventry United. Other news to talk about, Bridgwater United. The rest of this is all FA Cup. Bridgwater United, their attendance record was broken for tickets ahead of their FA Cup game against Manchester United. They have now updated that a couple of days ago to 1,500 tickets sold. So great work. There should be a great day for Bridgwater United and get a good amount of money for the club as well. Nottingham Forest against Manchester City. That's now being played on Saturday the 29th rather than the Sunday. That is because it is at the City Ground, a 1 p.m. kickoff, and also because Forest's men are away in Cardiff on the Sunday. They're hoping that they can get more people in on the Saturday because they're not trying to clash with the men's side. Also about fixtures being played at the men's grounds. Huddersfield against Everton now at the John Smith Stadium. Southampton against Bristol City is at St Mary's. And Plymouth against Charlton is at Home Park. So great that we've got so many of these fourth round ties from the FA Cup being played at the men's stadiums. So that is the news for this week that I was able to find. If there's any other news that I've missed, let me know. I'll put it into next week's show. But let's look then at the results from last week. We'll start in the Northern Premier Division. AFC Farm 2, Loughborough Lightning 0, Middlesbrough 1, Burnley 3, and West Bromwich Albion 1, Stoke City 0, with Hull against Huddersfield postponed. We'll start with that filed Loughborough game, but there's no information on the website as of yet. Nor is there any information about Middlesbrough against Burnley. West Bromwich Albion against Stoke. There is information. Lone goal of the game coming to Shannon Stamps for West Bromwich Albion in that one. They run out 1-0 winners. What those results mean for the league table is as follows. West Bromwich Albion climb a place above Brighouse Town. You will notice another new change to the show for this week is I have added in any rise and falls in the table. They're just to the right of the team names. Make it a bit easier for you to see the teams that are on the up and heading towards the foot of the table. So Fylde winning didn't make a change, nor did the victory for Burnley. They stayed in the same place, although they have gained significantly on that top half. West Bromwich Albion climbing above Brighouse Town, who didn't play. Going then into the Southern Premier Division, there were plenty of postponements there. 3, in fact. Bridgewater, Southampton, Gillingham, Keynsham and London Bees, Oxford all called off. Cardiff City 1, Plymouth Argyle 5, Ipswich 1, Portsmouth 1 and MK Dons 5, Hounslow 0. We'll start then with that game in Wales. Plymouth Argyle convincingly beating Cardiff City. Taking the lead, Gabby Alphys in the 13th minute, Zoe Cunningham 23rd minute, and Amber Pollock 42nd minute put them 3-0 up at half time. A second goal of the game for Gabby Alphys in the 54th minute made it 4-0. Kelly Isaac getting one back for Cardiff City, making it 4-1 just after the hour mark before Emily Eaton, 10 minutes from time, rounded off the scoring 5-1 to Plymouth Argyle. Great result for Portsmouth away at Ipswich Town, a 1-1 draw. A goal for Ipswich coming from Natasha Thomas. Evie Gann in the 68th minute equalising for Portsmouth. Ipswich Town dropping points again. Milton Keynes Dons against Hounslow, a convincing 5-0 victory for MK Dons. 2 goals for Cheryl Albert, 1 for Laura Bright, Marianne Tahoe and Sophia Kusubon Stovold, giving MK Dons the convincing 5-0 victory. And that means they go above Chichester and Chelsea in the relegation zone of the Southern Premier Division table. They're now only 4 points behind Cardiff City, who a few weeks ago were looking comfortable despite the fact they were in that final safety spot. They're not looking comfortable anymore. They were looking over their shoulders at the teams trying to make a charge behind them, particularly with Chichester and Chelsea having a game in hand. Ipswich dropping points. They're still 6 points clear, though, of Oxford United. Oxford have a game in hand. They could close that gap to 3, but it's Southampton who are potentially going to cause the upset to Ipswich. 3 games in hand and now only 7 points back. So Southampton could go 2 points clear at the top, but it will take a while for those games in hand to be played. Go through then into Division 1 North with the big win of the weekend. Alnwick Town against Chorley postponed. Chester Street Town 1, Durham Cestra 3. Newcastle United 10, FC United of Manchester 0. And Norton Stockton Ancients 1, Barnsley 2. Chester Street Town then against Durham Cestra. Goals for Durham coming in the 30th minute to Erin Nicholson, 36th minute to Amy Richardson, and the 54th minute to Jordan Atkinson. Nicole Havery getting the goal for Chester Street Town, but there's no time on that one. Then we come to the big victory, 4-0 at half-time, 10-0 the final score. Newcastle United beating FC United of Manchester. A hat-trick for Lauren Robson, 2 goals for Katie Barker and 1 for Georgia Gibson, Bethany Guy, Rachel Lee and Kira Skelton gave Newcastle United a 10-goal victory. And Norton Stockton Ancients 1, Barnsley 2. Barnsley taking the lead within the first 10 minutes. Emily Brett in the 8th minute putting them in front. Victoria Burton equalising for Norton Stockton Ancients 10 minutes before half-time. And then 10 minutes from the end, substitute Emily Pierpont coming on and scoring in the 80th minute to give Barnsley the victory. What that means for the table is not a great deal apart from Durham Cestra with their victory jumping 4 places because it is so tight in that midfield in the Division 1 North. So everybody else dropping down. FC United of Manchester and Norton Stockton Ancients both losing, of course, in that one. Newcastle United, their goal difference has jumped from 26 to 36, but they're still 5 points behind Liverpool Feds, but with a game in hand, so that gap could close again. And as I said, Chester Street Town still in the bottom 3 after that defeat. Let's move through then into the Division 1 Midlands. Doncaster Rovers Bells 2, Bournemouth St Michael's 2, Leek Town 4, Long Eaton United 0, and Lincoln City 3, Sporting Cowser 3. Great result there, great game to watch. Wem Town against Peterborough United postponed. We'll start then with Doncaster Rovers against Boldmere St Michael's. Goals for Doncaster Rovers to Jessica Price and Lauren Breen. No timings on any of these goals. Goals for Boldmere St Michael's to Jessica Lundy and Ella Thompson Moulding. Leek Town 4, Long Eaton United 0. Goals for Leek Town coming all in the second half. Molly Garner in the 48th minute. Paris O'Connor 79th minute. Cassie Hyde 85th. And substitute Katie Meyer in the 89th minute. A 4-0 victory for Leek Town. And then probably the game of the day in the Division 1 Midlands. Lincoln City 3, Sporting Cowser 3. Plenty to go through in this game. Goals coming, starting really well for Sporting Cowser, actually. They were 3-0 up in this game. Louisa Anderson in the 21st minute, Chloe Handy 23rd minute, and Megan Cann in the 50th minute, putting them 3-0 up before Lincoln City pulled their way back into the game, helped in part by Chloe Handy getting a second yellow card. So Sporting Cowser down to 10. 51st minute, Tony McHamilton. 65th minute, Jessica Razoo. And then Leah Hardy, 77th minute, completing the comeback for Lincoln City. Means that they climb above Long Eaton United in the table with the points that they got in that draw. Doncaster Rovers, Bells still at the top of the table, didn't pull any further away because they drew as well. Leek Town with the 4-0 victory, they went from a minus 11 goal difference to a minus 7 goal difference, and they are now they are still in 5th place in the table. Right, Division 1 South East then. Plenty of games to talk about here. AFC Wimbledon 0, Billericay Town 0, Actonians 1, #United 0, Cambridge City 5, Harlow Town 3, Norwich City 2, London Seaward 2. So plenty of interesting results in this one, particularly at the top of the table. We're going to start not with AFC Wimbledon against Billericay Town because there's no goals in that one to talk about, but with Actonians against #United. 34th minute, Sharon Odafin with the only goal of the game, meaning #United lose and fail to pull away from Billericay Town, who also failed to get a victory. Cambridge City 5, Harlow Town 3. 2 goals for Carly Tolentino, 1 for Grace Stanley, Zina Delegan and Ellie Cullum, giving Cambridge City their 5 goals. Harlow Town not having announced any of their lineup, no information on their 3 goals. Similar situation with Norwich City against London Seaward. We've got London Seawards but not Norwichers. Abby Dell in the 36th minute scoring for London Seaward, and then what I can only assume is a very late equaliser, 90+5 for Maisie Cannon, giving London Seaward a 2-2 draw in that one. What that means for the table, London Seaward and Cambridge United swap places, Cambridge City and Queen's Park Rangers swap places, but at the top, #United losing so in the at the top of the table, but they stay top. That's their first defeat of the season, #United. They stay top because Billericay Town, with their draw, failed to take the opportunity to go top of the table. It's still between those two, realistically. Actonians, with 2 games played more than them and still 6 points back. London Seaward in 4th with the same number of points, but they are now 12 points back. So it does seem to be between #United and Billericay Town for the top spot in the Division 1 South East. Division 1 South West, just the one game to talk about, and that is Swindon Town against Portishead. 2 goals for Megan Attenborough for Swindon Town. No information about Portishead as of yet, but the victory, because again it's so tight in the Division 1 South West, does mean they climb 3 places above Exeter, Maidenhead and Chesham United into 4th place in the Division 1 South West. That is the league fixtures. Now let's have a look at the Cup. And we're going to start in the Cup second round, where we had some interesting results here. Liverpool Feds 3, Wolverhampton Wanderers 3. Liverpool Feds had taken the lead in extra time. Wolves pegged them back, but Liverpool Feds with the victory on the penalty shootout there. And Brighouse Town beating Derby County by 4-1 after extra time. We'll have a look at those two results now, but plenty of goals in extra time for Brighouse Town means they go through into the quarter-finals. We'll start with Liverpool Feds against Wolves. 9th minute, Liverpool Feds took the lead. Rosie Kinvig. 17th minute, Erin Slade made it 2-0 to Liverpool Feds. Wolves pegged them back. Kelly Darby, 35th minute, and Beth Merrick, 49th minute, made it 2-2. 23rd minute of extra time, Jennifer Rogers put Liverpool Feds back in front, but that lasted only a minute. Laura Cooper, 24th minute of extra time, so just 1 minute later, pegging it back for Wolves, but then Liverpool win on penalties. I don't know if we've got the details of the penalties on here. No, we don't. So we'll go straight to Derby County against Brighouse Town. Then half-time, it was 0-0. Sophie Domingo getting a goal in the 61st minute for Derby. Rather unhelpfully, it doesn't tell me when the goals were scored for Brighouse Town. So I don't know which of these was in the 90 minutes and which was in extra time. But goals for Leah Embley, Shauna Legg, Danielle Whiteman and Imogen Porteous-Williams, giving Brighouse Town the victory and into the quarter-finals. Let's have a look at the plate. I'll mention while I'm on here, Southampton women against Crawley Wasps called off this weekend. It now rolls to next weekend. That final round of 16 tie that we need. In the plate, just the one game to talk about. Bit of United 1, Nottingham Forest 5. Alnwick Town against Leeds United, Leeds win County Cup action, so that's got rolled over as well. And of course, Leafhead Athletic getting the away walkover over Howell Sports. No information about Biddeford United's goal. Forest, they were 5-0 up after 25 minutes. They scored in the 2nd minute, Neve Reynolds, 3rd minute, Rachel Brown, 4th minute, Hayley James, 12th minute, Amy West, and 24th minute, Sophia Bonser. So got 5-0 up, and then that was all it for the scoring for Forest. So they're through into the quarterfinals of the plate. Still don't know who they're playing yet because Alnwick Town against Leeds United still to take place. If we look at that cup quarterfinal draw, Brighouse against Huddersfield Town, that's like a 5-mile trip for Huddersfield. Southampton Women or Crawley against Oxford, still waiting to find that one out. Fylde against Liverpool Feds, another really short, the shortest possible trip for Liverpool Feds, the 4th tier side left in the northern section, so to speak. Southampton against #United, the other one. Those are being played on the 6th of February. Those ties. If we look at the plate, again, it's all sorted apart from that one at the top. Alnwick Town or Leeds United against Nottingham Forest. Pretty sure from a Forest point of view, they might fancy facing Leeds because it's about 150-mile round trip less than going up to Alnwick. Alnwick much further north than any of the Northern Premier fixtures that Forest have to do. Leafhead Athletic against Sporting Cowser in an all Midlands affair. Cheltenham Town against Exeter City and Portsmouth against AFC Wimbledon. The teams in the south, they're playing the teams closest to them, as I have previously mentioned. So that is all of the results. We're now going to go through and we'll look at the fixtures coming up this week. We'll have a bit of a look at the table as well, see how things are going in that one. So we go through to the northern fixtures. Burnley against Sheffield, AFC Fylde against Middlesbrough, Huddersfield against Forest, and Hull City against Loughborough Lightning. So Burnley in 6th, taking on Sheffield in 11th. Fylde against Middlesbrough, that's 2nd against 10th. Huddersfield against Forest, that's going to be a tough one for both sides. They're 4th against 5th. They've got pretty much identical records so far this season as well. Hull City against Loughborough Lightning, that's going to be a crucial one. 13th against 12th at the bottom of the table. And I like the fact that the league seems to have altered things somewhat. And there's hyperlinks and all sorts on the table. So that's a nice move from The league seems to be a funeral procession just going past my door. Southern Premier Division, Chichester and Chelsea against London Bees, Ipswich Town against Hounslow, MK Dons against Southampton, Oxford United against Cardiff City, and Plymouth Argyle against Portsmouth. So Chichester and Chelsea in 12th against London Bees in 8th. Chichester and Chelsea, again, this is a game they could really do with winning, get themselves closer to Cardiff City. Ipswich Town against Hounslow, that's top versus bottom. Hounslow still without a point this season, so you'd feel Ipswich are going to win that game. MK Dons against Southampton, that's 11th against 3rd. Southampton, again, really wanting to keep the pressure on Ipswich. Oxford United against Cardiff City, that's 2nd against 10th, so you'd fancy Oxford for that one as well. Plymouth Argyle against Portsmouth, that's 13th against 7th. Into the Division 1 Midlands, Bideford United against Leek Town, Doncaster Rovers Bells against Wem Town, and Long Eaton United against Solihull Moors. Bideford United still bottom of the table, and they face Leek Town, who are in 5th. Doncaster Rovers Bells against Wem Town, that's 1st against 7th, and Long Eaton United take on Solihull Moors, that is 3rd against 9th. All sorts of movements could happen in Division 1 Midlands because it is so tight, particularly with 3 points separating 6th from 9th. Into the Division 1 North then, Barnsley against Newcastle United, Chorley against Chester Street Town, and FC United of Manchester against Stockport County. So Barnsley against Newcastle United, that's 9th against 2nd. Chorley against Chester Street Town, that's 7th against 11th. And FC United of Manchester against Stockport County, that's 8th against 6th. Again, teams can move about. There is 2 points separating 4th from 8th. A victory for FC United of Manchester and other results going their way could mean they go from 8th to 4th. Pretty much exactly what Durham Sestra did last week. Division 1 South East then, 3 games to talk about. Wimbledon against Enfield Town, Kent Football United against Actonians, and London Seaward against Queen's Park Rangers. The top 2 not in action this weekend. Wimbledon against Enfield Town, that's 6th against 9th. Kent Football United against Actonians, 13th against 3rd. Kent Football United still without a win. And this one could be tough for them as well. Actonians need to win, keep that pressure on as best they can. London Seaward in 4th against Queen's Park Rangers in 8th. Queen's Park Rangers only 3 points outside the relegation zone, but it's more about, it's less about the points and the goal difference in the Division 1 South East. The reason I say that, so Queen's Park Rangers have a goal difference of 2, Enfield Town with -5, and then Harlow Town in 10th, that final relegation spot, -29. So it's less about worrying about the goal difference, and they'd have to get a point clear. So Queen's Park Rangers 3 points clear of the drop zone, kind of feels like 4 because they have got that cushion of 31 goals with the goal difference. And finally, Division 1 Southwest, Chesham United against AFC Bournemouth, and Exeter City against Maidenhead United. That's 7th against 2nd. In Chesham United against Bournemouth, and Exeter City against Maidenhead is 5th against 6th. Again, it's so close in the mid-table of the Division 1 Southwest. Expect plenty of movement when we do next week. Show Bournemouth will be desperate for the win against Chesham United. They've got 2 games in hand and they're 5 points back from Cheltenham Town. So a win this weekend in one of those games in hand will make a big difference to Bournemouth, put them within touching distance of Cheltenham Town. But that will do it for all of the fixtures coming up in the next week, because I've already gone through those 2 cup games that are going to take place as well. So that will do it for this week's episode of the FA Women's National League show. Thank you very much for joining me. Hope you're enjoying the improvements to this show as well, with the league tables and the stuff and the news section at the start. As always, if you want to get involved with the show, comment down below or message me on Twitter at Chris_Gadsby. And if you've got any suggestions for further improvements to the show, other things you want to see added in, let me know and I'll try my best to add those into the show as well. But As I say at the end of every week, keep yourself safe as best you can, but keep supporting your local women's football team. We've got some great fixtures on the horizon in the next month or so that should hopefully really put the Women's National League on the map. Thank you very much for watching, and goodbye.